You know the fighters, but you don't know their stories. What if I told you the most dominant lightweight in UFC history, Khabib Nurmagomedov, left the game too soon? Imagine this. Instead of retiring at 29-0, Khabib returns, fights again against legends, rising monsters, and even his own protege, GSP, Oliveira, McGregor II, Islam Makhachev. It could have been the most epic storyline in MMA history, not just for glory, but for legacy. This is the untold chapter, the war that never happened but should have. Chapter 1. Khabib's reign, unbreakable, untouched. Khabib Nurmagomedov wasn't just a fighter. He was a system, a nightmare blueprint of grappling pressure, mental fortitude, and flawless execution perfected through years of discipline and sacrifice in the mountains of Dagestan. His UFC journey was a masterclass in domination, launching Abel Trujillo like a ragdoll with record-breaking 21 takedowns, and smashing Edson Barboza's soul with relentless top control, as if he had rehearsed every round 1,000 times in his mind. He wasn't flashy, loud, or dramatic. He was efficient, focused, and terrifying. But it wasn't until UFC 229 that the world stood still. The build-up to McGregor versus Khabib was nuclear. Conor hurled insults at Khabib's faith, family, and country, turning press conferences into war zones. Yet Khabib, ice cold, silent rage under the surface. Then came the fight and the tap. Khabib didn't just win. He broke McGregor's will, leaping into infamy over the cage, cementing himself as more than a champion, a symbol. Then, in 2020, after submitting Justin Gaethje in an emotionally charged performance following his father's death, Khabib dropped his gloves. 29-0. Perfect. Unmatched. Done. But not really. Chapter 2. The era of what if, after Khabib's exit, the lightweight division wasn't left in ruins. It was set on fire. New contenders, styles, and stories emerged, none more captivating than Charles Oliveira. Du Bronx, once inconsistent, transformed into a complete finisher, knocking out Michael Chandler, shutting down Tony Ferguson, and outbrawling Dustin Poirier in a gritty title defense. Fans crave Khabib versus Charles, a clash of chaos and control, Jiu-Jitsu versus Sambo, Brazil versus Dagestan, a fight of the decade. Dana White and Oliveira were open to it, but Khabib remained silent, respectful but immovable. Then came murmurs of GSP, Georges St-Pierre, the welterweight king and Khabib's idol. It wasn't just a super fight. It was history in the making, GOAT versus GOAT, Dagestan versus TriStar Precision. Dana teased, fans fantasized, even GSP gave a nod. But again, nothing. As new champions rose and Khabib stayed quiet, his legend grew. Every call-out unanswered, every fantasy match it more mythical. Khabib didn't just walk away. He left behind the greatest collection of dream fights the UFC would never see. Chapter 3. Islam rises, a mirror in motion. While fans watch Oliveira, Chandler, and Gaethje, Khabib quietly crafted a new force. Islam Makhachev, not just a student but a reflection. Quiet, calculated, cold-blooded, Islam didn't crave the spotlight. He earned it, dismantling Drew Dober, submitting Dan Hooker, and dominating Bobby Green. Islam's rise was steady, inevitable. Then came Charles Oliveira. Islam didn't just win, he dominated, cracking him on the feet and finishing him on the ground. Next, Volkanovski, pound for pound number one. Islam went 5 rounds, beating him in a chess match of skill, will, and IQ. By 2025, Islam wasn't just a champion. He was elite, sharper than Khabib, more versatile, more dangerous. The whispers turned to debates, the debates to declarations. And suddenly, this wasn't about legacy. It was about collision, a mirror reflecting back at its creator. Chapter 4. Coach versus champion. The lines blurred. Khabib wasn't just a mentor. He was a mentor, but now the student was a king. Ali Abdelaziz managed both. Javier Mendez coached both. UFC 300, legacy versus dynasty, one more for the ages. The tension grew, not in call-outs but in silence. Khabib wasn't just retired. He avoided what seemed inevitable, a showdown with his own creation. Chapter 5, Behind the Silence. What if Khabib returned? Would respect hold in the cage? Would Islam hold back? Would Khabib destroy what he built to protect his legacy? A fight between them wasn't just thrilling. It was terrifying. Two men who knew each other's breaths, paces, hearts. Imagine the build-up, Dagestan torn, coaches conflicted, fans choosing sides. Khabib's perfect career, Islam's superior skill set, no belt big enough for that war. Chapter 6. The fight that never was. It never happened. Khabib stayed in the corner, Islam in the spotlight. But fans kept asking, what if it happened in Moscow? One night, one arena, one truth? We'll never know. And maybe that's the point. Some legends aren't meant to collide. Chapter 7. What if he returned? Imagine Khabib at UFC 300, one final camp. The eagle flying again, not for money or revenge, but to break the debate. Khabib versus Islam in Abu Dhabi. A silent war, a respectful storm. The greatest MMA chess match, not blood, not hate, but history. Islam pushing, Khabib countering. Clinch the cage, Sambo to Sambo, a 5-round classic. No loser, just legacy. Chapter 8, Massive Legacy. Whether it happens or not, this story lives in every fan's mind. Every time Islam enters the octagon, Khabib's shadow is there. Every GOAT debate in lightweights breathes this story. Two paths, one origin, and at Massive, where fight stories never die. If you felt that fight, drop a like. If you want more, hit subscribe. This is Massive, and we're just getting started. What do you think about this?